What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of All the Mod 7. Today, we are going to be making some factories and setting up some of our chemicals for Mekanism to work into the fission reactor. I kinda already built a little bit of a room here. I don't know if this is going to be big enough or not, but this is one of those times where I was like, let me see if I can actually make like a factory style place and see if I like it. And so far it's kind of cool. I'm not exactly sure what I left off on a lot from the last episode, but I did a lot of work. I built this out. I ran the quarry again one more time just so I can get a bunch of stone, a bunch of different things like that. So that's all done, and this is all built out and kind of just moved out. This is kind of basic, but it kind of gives a factory feel, right? Right? Before we get started doing all of this, I'd like to say thank you guys so much for everything that you've been doing. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers. I'm just kind of excited about it. I'm sorry. We're supposed to hit it within the next 15 days, but maybe we can hit it faster. So here's a challenge. My birthday is on October 17th of this month. We are slated to hit 1,000 subscribers by the 20th. Can we get 1,000 subscribers by my birthday? That'd be pretty cool if we could. And if you guys are watching and you're not subscribed and you want to be a part of this adventure, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you like these kind of videos, I also do some like mod guides, stuff like that. I'm actually working towards an All the Mods 8 video, but don't tell nobody. So I've done a lot of things since the last time we kind of talked and hung out. What was it? I guess last Monday would be the last time you guys saw a video. So I have made myself, I don't know if I did this in the last episode or not, but it's here. I made a crafter for all of my smelting recipes and made myself a little vibranium furnace over here. I didn't have enough unobtainium. I do have this set up over here, so that way if I need to smelt something, don't worry about these. That's not. But I decided like I needed to smelt a bunch of stone because we have approximately 597,812 stone from just running the quarry one time. I basically just went and just said, hey, run the quarry again for where we ran it for all the ore. But this time just grab us some deep slate, some tough, all the stuff that I kind of needed to build this stuff downstairs. So that's what I've been doing. I think I also messed with some seeds. I got some different seeds. I think I started prepping. Let's go look. Ah, yes, that's right. I started prepping because the All the Mod star will need specific kinds of materials. Like we'll need nether seeds. I got nether seeds. I got stone seeds. And I believe that's all I've done, maybe, question mark, potentially. We have obsidian. We set that up earlier. Yeah, so we'll have to do more of these later on. The All the Mod star needs a dimensional seed. I just spelled it wrong. And this needs 5 times compressed clay, 4 times compressed soul sand, red sand. So we're gonna need a ton of sand. We need a ton of obsidian, a ton of blackstone, a ton of endstone, and a ton of netherite. You can make most of that with the seeds. There's also an update with bees in the latest All the Mod 7 pack. I don't know if you are playing. Oh my god! Yo, those bees popping out actually just scared the absolute hell out of me. I'm not even gonna lie. I just got scared by a bunch of bees. They just popped out and scared me. Anyway, so there's an update and I tested this to see how this would work. And basically the update adds something called a simulator upgrade. And you can see the way this works is that the bees stay in the hive and they don't come out and they'll just produce combs over time. This reduces a lot of latency and stuff. All you gotta do is you gotta make sure the block is placed right in front of the beehive like this. So you get a space, you can put a little space right here for the item pipe. So this is kind of where it would look like in general. It added a couple of more things, but I'm going to be redoing my bee setup in a later video. Like I said, today we're going to be focused on Mekanism. Speaking of Mekanism, I actually went ahead and made myself a compressing factory right here. I actually messed this up like 14 times, but the compressing factory is actually pretty cool. So I did the same thing that I did in the last video where I set all this up and I have this over here to the side. Basically what this makes is the compressor, or the ultimate compressing factory, makes it where I can craft like the refined obsidian ingots. So like this, I can just click and click start and it will make all this or craft me some obsidian dust and then compress it into this. It just needs some osmium in it. So just like these over here where it takes enriched redstone, instead you just need some osmium, so I pumped in osmium. I also, for those who are wanting to know, modular routers does have a range. So that's kind of important. So if you take and you open this up and you right click, you can open this up and see what's inside of it. And I've added a range up augment. These are actually very easy to make, and it makes it where it extends the range by a certain amount. So that way we can power these things and it can reach it, because without those range upgrades, this wouldn't actually be able to reach this part. And then we have this down here. God, I really love the mod Simply Light. So if we walk down here, we keep going down here, this is my new little factory place. Now, again, guys, if you were building without the builder's gadget stuff, like the copy and paste tool, the Destructo gadget, the gadgets, please, building gadgets is the best thing ever. I don't actually know if this is enough space. I'm going to be honest with you guys, but I'm just going to kind of wing it, okay? And if we need more space, I could just Destructo gadget this whole entire wall, okay? Just destroy it all, just... So I've got a list of all the things that we want to make. You know what I don't have? I don't have points. Do I even have any more flux dust? Oh, let me go make a flux point and a couple flux points, and I'll be right back. I forgot to tell you guys that I made a bunch of recipes. So it's very tiresome, like, to have to make each one of these over and over and over and over and over, but like, this makes things so much easier, where I could just open up my stuff and be like, hey, I want a sink, give me a sink, right? It's so cool to just be able to call for these things and have them made. So I've made a ton of patterns, so much so that I'm actually going to need another creative crafter. Like, it's kind of crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and throw my transmitter down up here, just because I know I'm gonna need it when I get down there, but we'll go back. We'll just look at that here in a minute. We're going to get started in setting up a system for us to pull things out and create certain kinds of chemicals. You probably already know this, but Mekanism functions off of a ton of kinds of chemicals. So we've kind of already looked at this when we look at stuff like hydrogen and or basically water being split into oxygen and hydrogen. You use them or those two gases or whatever in specific things, so that way that you can use them and break down, like, say, ores or different kinds of materials and stuff. So our ultimate goal is to get it to where we can make fissile fuel right here. Fissile fuel is what's used to be put into a fission reactor, which makes us a couple of different things that we need for the Alamod star. Now, it also makes us a ton of power, but we're going to be putting the reactor somewhere completely different. But what we're going to do instead is we're going to make all the things that are needed to make the fissile fuel. With fissile fuel, you actually need a bunch of different kinds of chemicals. And I know it is very confusing, because you're like, okay, let's just do a quick rundown. To make fissile fuel, you need to put uranium hexafluoride into an isotopic centrifuge. To get uranium hexafluoride, you need to get a chemical infuser with uranium oxide mixed with it gets very convoluted extremely quickly. When you're going through those recipes, it gets kind of difficult, but don't worry, I'm going to make this super simple. And the way I'm going to do it is I'm actually going to just make the beginning chemicals, because you need those beginning chemicals for a lot of different things, or the beginning gases, or whatever it is that we're making, right? We're going to start out with our basic stuff, which is our sinks, because we're going to make ourselves some hydrogen and we're going to make ourselves some oxygen. Those two things come out of sinks. I'm not sure exactly how I want to set this up, but I've got 32 of them, so I don't really need a whole lot of these. But what we could do is we can make a cool little station for this. So I'm going to do like this. I don't actually think we need a wall of sinks, now that I think about it, because the way the sink works is that every face that you pull from can pull water into whatever it is that you're trying to make, right? We want to make hydrogen and we want to make oxygen, right? That's just water put into an electrolytic separator. So we're going to need a couple of the separators or whatever, and that'll be good for us to make. I'm not going to use the water pipes, and you might be wondering why. These guys right here will pull 10,000 millibuckets per tick, but I'm actually already went ahead and got the recipes for our mechanical pipes, which mechanical ones are the water pipes for Mekanism. These pull 128,000 millibuckets per tick. They're actually not that hard to make. So you just need the elite mechanical pipes and an atomic alloy. We can make atomic alloys pretty easy. The elite ones are just reinforced alloys surrounded by the mechanical pipes, the advanced ones rather. And then as we see, it just steps up. So really, if you get all of these recipes in here and we do just like we did before, where we already have the crafting stuff, I can actually just call for a stack of these pipes and just say, hey, give me a stack of these, and bam, there we go. So what I did was I basically made each one of these recipes and I put it on a pattern, and I put it into my crafter. And because we already know how to make all of these things, including steel ingots and buckets, and I made a bucket recipe as well, it makes it easy for me, because then I could just make them. So we're going to stick these down, and you might be wondering why I'm doing this. It's not just speed, but these things are actually really cool too, because they show the water in them, and I would like that. So we're going to we're going to pull here, and we're going to pull here. And if you're wondering what I'm using, this is called a configurator. This is a Mekanism's wrench, essentially. You will need an energy tablet. And because I am very picky, I just want 3, so we're breaking these. I want 3 because I like it going down the middle. Now we need a bunch of electrolytic separators to separate into hydrogen and oxygen. I want a bunch of these. And the reason why I want a bunch of these is because oxygen and hydrogen actually is used for a bunch of different things. So if we hit U, we can see that it makes that sulfur trioxide, but it also is needed in a chemical injection chamber, also needed for the pressurized reaction chamber to make things like the HDPE pellets, which we'll need as well. And it has a ton of recipes in general. And I really want to make sure that we get it. We need it in the purification chamber as well upstairs. Hydrogen is the same. So when you make this, you want to make sure that you're making a bunch of these, like you're trying to get a good bit of these. Because again, the hydrogen actually is needed for a bunch of things, right? We need it for hydrogen chloride, which is used for the chemical injection chamber to do certain things like break ores down, which is actually kind of important. You also need it to make substrate, which is the precursor or the thing that you make before you can make the pellets, right? This also allows you to make ethylene, which ethylene is a really, really good energy resource if you have something like the gas burning generator. Creating hydrogen is actually really important. So we need a ton of it. So let's go ahead and make those separators. It would be kind of nice to go ahead and get a recipe for this one, but we need gold dust and iron dust for this. So basically to make these, you just need some iron and some gold dust, and then you need some osmium dust. You'll also need some iron ingots and some of those infused alloys. This is actually really easy to make. I mean, we've made it before. Because it actually needs these infused alloys, I think it's probably smarter for me to go ahead and make the recipe for this so I can just call for it. The only issue is I got a lot of stuff in my inventory. So let's just take some stuff out that I don't need in here. And let's go ahead and grab those recipes, and we'll just stick them in here. And then now we can just call for it. So I want to go ahead and make, let's make 5. There we go. And while I'm here, I'm also going to need 2 things. First off, we're going to need a chemical tank. So what this is it stores chemicals. It's pretty simple, right? I already have this set up to where I can craft me a couple of these ultimate tanks. I can just hit this button, and again, just like I said before, it needs to craft each of these all the way down. And it really just needs some osmium, some iron, and all of those alloys that we already have set up. So if you do like I did and just make the recipes for them and stick them in your crafter, you can just call for the max or the highest one and just let it craft. So I'm going to need 2. We're creating one for hydrogen and one for oxygen. So these things store a ton. Like that's a bunch. All right, so let's get back. All right, so with our electrolytic separators, we're going to place these down just like this. We can think about this. Do we want to go up? Let's go up. Let's try up first. Okay, so now we need to fuel all of these with water. So we'll get more of those ultimate mechanical pipes here and stick them in the back. We can set all of these to push, but as we see, this already has the water inside of it, which is good. It's kind of weird that it had power in it. Hello? That's really weird. Anyway, so these things will need power, and we also need to output them. So because it's a gas, and it's a type of gas, it's basically going to output hydrogen and oxygen, and these two are gases, right? I also have exactly what I was talking about before. I have those gas pipes, which it's not really that important to get these things to pump out that much, because it pumps out 40,000 millibuckets per tick, which is good. So we could use our gas pipes here, but we need to separate this. We have a left and a right here. We want to go left for hydrogen and right for oxygen. And we're going to do this for each one of these to pull out each one of these on the sides. And then we're going to stick in an ultimate pipe upgrade for each of these. You shift right click, you can just shove them right in. So if we take our ultimate chemical tanks and we put one right here and one right here, we can take and pump each of these out at the bottom here, just like this, right? And this will pump a certain kind of chemical in it once we set this up. So for example here, each one of these are now empty, which means that this got filled up with something that's got oxygen, that's got hydrogen. Good. So we jump into the side config and we go in here to gases. We want to output 1, so that'll be hydrogen on the left. And we want to output 2, which is oxygen on the right. So now we should have some of these in both of these, which is good. And we can actually tell how much is in there at the top, but this thing holds a bunch. And now we need some sort of power for all of these. So with my point that I have here, I'm just going to do just like this. And I'm going to take and stick a point in the front. Now, once we shift right click here, all of these should be powered. It's not getting too much power. Why? Because we don't have the ultimate pipe upgrade in here. And this should now all be getting power. Except we kind of gotta put 2 different upgrades in here. More speed and energy upgrades. Let's do that. We're gonna need 8 of each times 5. And 8 times 5 is 40. All right, let me double check that in my head. Boop, ba-doop, ba-doop, ba-doop. And there we go. We have all of our upgrades that we need right here for this machine. Let's go ahead and throw these in here. We're actually limited here because they don't have enough power. So to fix that, all we got to do is pull from this more than one time. So pull here, just like we did upstairs. Shift right click, and now each of these should still not have enough power. Man, each of these need 614 FE per tick, and these pipes are actually pulling a decent amount. Just this one alone is pulling 129,000 FE per tick. I guess the way we could fix this would be making the pipes from Mekanism. So if we come over here and we take a look, the maximum one can do it carries 3.27 million FE per tick. So we could just go ahead and make that. Now, let's see if replacing these energy pipes here actually makes it work better. Using our configurator here, we'll make sure to pull from that. Let's see, it actually didn't do anything different. What we can do for the time being is uninstall a couple of these speed upgrades, just one. And what this will do is it'll make it work and at least hold some energy and doesn't pull way too much. We can just leave them inside of the upgrades for now, and then we'll get them later on. And now each of these should have enough energy, and it should still be making us a decent amount of oxygen. Considering the fact that we've almost got 4 million, like we're at 3.5 million millibuckets of oxygen and almost 8 million millibuckets of hydrogen, I think we're okay. These little things on the side just make it where you say, okay, well, what happens when we're full? What do we do? We actually want to make sure this is not set to dumping excess. Reason being is because if we do dumping excess, we don't want it to end up saying, okay, hey, when it's full, it'll just keep using power and keep breaking that down that oxygen. Don't want to do that. See, the hydrogen's full here. But if we want to fill that up, we probably actually want to keep the hydrogen to dumping excess so we can keep our pipes full. So let's just make sure hydrogen is set to dumping excess here. And then when this fills up, it'll just stop because the oxygen is full over here. So now we've essentially made it where we have 2 ultimate chemical tanks, one for oxygen and one for hydrogen. Obviously, we're going to need more oxygen because this is producing way more hydrogen than it is oxygen. We can offset this by having 2 chemical tanks for hydrogen here, which would be kind of cool. Now we've solved step 1, which is oxygen and hydrogen, with a neat little setup that's nothing too crazy. And now I'm just going to stick a little sign here and say hydrogen and oxygen. All right. So these 2 are set up. We've got a little oxygen and hydrogen set up. And we can expand this, and we can actually make this longer if we want to, but this should be set up right now. So next up, we have to try and make sulfuric acid. So to do this, we're going to need water vapor. Water vapor is actually pretty easy to make. It's just water in one machine, which is called the rotary condensator. Water vapor is actually used to make sulfuric acid. It's also put inside a chemical injection chamber, and you can make things like clay and take clay from bricks. You can make concrete powder into normal concrete, stuff like that. So that way you don't have to wait on it. You can also just condense it back into just normal water. So this is actually very simple. You just need a rotary condensator, not the hardest to make, right? Easy enough, bam, boop. And now we can make this. So this sucker spins things really fast. It spins things real fast. So what we can do here is we can actually just make this real simple. We can come over here, put down a sink first, put down the rotary condensator, or is it condensator? Grab ourselves a ultimate mechanical pipe here. Set this to pull. And then you have 2 different options up here. You have toggle operation. We can come over here to the side, make sure that in the back here, we have an input for our fluids, right? So that's right here is the input. And then we can toggle what it is. So we can toggle it right here. You click this, and this is now condensating. This is decondensating. This is decondensating. It's out of power, but that's what it'll do, and it'll create water vapor. So simply enough, we can grab that gas pipe here, stick it down right here, and then let's make us another chemical tank. Stick this down. Once we shift right click here, put in that ultimate pipe upgrade, it should now hold our water vapor. So now we just need to get power to it, which we could honestly just bounce off of that one for now, which is probably what we're going to do. So now this is working. I kind of want to clean this up, to be honest with you. We'll clean this up later, but we're getting good space here. It's taking a bunch of water. turning it into water vapor, and we'll have this full in no time. This can also take some speed upgrades and some energy upgrades. Well, so let's make those. And there we go. Now that we have 8 of each, let's go ahead and stick those in there. And this one's holding enough power to have those together. Now, here we go. Making a bunch of water vapor. Cool. All right. Now we need to continue our journey to making sulfuric acid, which we need sulfur trioxide, which is made in a chemical infuser with oxygen and sulfur dioxide. Before we decide to make this sulfur trioxide, we're going to go ahead and make the dioxide version, which is just a chemical oxidizer with some sulfur dust. So let's make that chemical oxidizer first. And this one, we're actually going to need a chest. We're going to need a dynamic tank, which we can actually just easily make. Throw that in there. Is that a personal chest? Do I need a personal chest for this? Looks like we need a personal chest, so let me just go ahead and make that. All right, so chemical oxidizer here. So for the chemical oxidizer, for us to make this sulfur dioxide, we just need to put sulfur in it and it will create it. So again, we're just going to pipe off of this one, which to make this look better, we need a way to pump in our sulfur dust, which I have bees currently making. They're right here making it. I'm going to go ahead and throw this in here. So I have to have a way to pump in here. So easy enough. We take our network receiver and our network right here, put our network card on there. We put an exporter here and we make sure we put some sulfur dust inside of it. Same thing. We're also going to put some speed upgrades in here. Go ahead and put 4. So that way it tells it to do it. And then I'll have to just connect this. So let's just go back home, put the network card in my transmitter right here and head back. And now this should pull any kind of sulfur dust we have out of it into here. As long as we come in here, we make sure in the items config we have an input, which the input is actually on the back. So if we click here to clear all the sides here, we can do input in the back and now it should fill up here. And this is making us our sulfur dioxide. And instead of continuing, because you don't really actually need sulfur dioxide for anything other than sulfur trioxide, we can actually just take some oxygen and make the sulfur trioxide right here in a chemical infuser. Let's go ahead and make that chemical infuser then. So slam this down right here. And then we'll put our gas pipe here. We'll do the config here to do gases, and then we'll do output in the front right there. And then we want to make the input on the backside. So we click on gases here and we do backside here. We do input 1. So now that should start getting us nothing because we don't have this right clicked right here. Same thing, put an ultimate pipe upgrade in here. And then now we should get our sulfur dioxide in here. We're just working our way up to making the sulfur trioxide, which then makes the sulfuric acid. So the trioxide again just takes the dioxide and the oxygen into this. So you're wondering, we have oxygen all the way over here. How in the world are we going to get it all the way over here without just piping things up and over? We could do that for the beginning if we wanted to. Be the easiest way to, right? That would be not that clean. And you know what? I like it clean. So what we're actually going to do is use Mekanism's built-in wireless transport system. They have something called quantum entangloporters. They're really, really cool. And they're not that hard to make. You need refined obsidian ingots, you need some ultimate control circuits, atomic alloys, which these are pretty much just made with each other, and you need something called a teleportation core, which is actually very easy to make as well. So nothing hard. But I've actually already have the recipe in here to make a couple of these. So I'm just going to make myself 10. Click that, click go, and there we go. We have 10. God, I love this. So what this does is actually pretty cool. So instead of having these signs right here, I'm going to pop these off just like this. What we can do is we can take these entangloporters and we can put them in front of our barrels here, just like this. We'll wait on that one for a second. And then now our barrels, I meant chemical tanks. So we can take and output it just like this into these, and then we can create a channel with this. Now, if you're on a public server, obviously you probably want to set this to private, but what we're going to do is these actually transfer energy, gases, liquids, items, everything wirelessly. It's pretty cool. But we're just going to use these to transfer our oxygen, our hydrogen, all that good stuff, just to make sure this is our hydrogen first. So we can come over here. We want to set this to hydrogen. That's what we're going to call it, if I can spell it. And then we're going to click this little check mark. So now all I've got to do now, this is a new channel called hydrogen. And then we do side config. We want to go over here to gases, and in the backside, we'll have input here. What this will do is now we can just connect to it by shift clicking here and putting one of those ultimate pipe upgrades in there. Same thing over here. We'll shift click here, put the ultimate pipe upgrade, and we'll call this one oxygen. Make sure on the backside for gases, we have an input. So let's do this one for this one. This is our water vapor. And now essentially what we have, and I just realized I scooted this over too far. So I've got to fix that because that's going to be a problem. It's going to bug me forever. All right, now we're better set up. Now this is like a nice little factory here. So now we got to continue making that sulfuric trioxide or sulfur trioxide, right? Which is, again, we need to pump that oxygen in. So how do we do that? Well, there's a couple of ways we could do this to make it kind of cool. We could just take and pump the oxygen up and over and then into this right here if we wanted to. Or we can make it clean and just put another one of these quantum entangloporters right here, set the frequency to oxygen, and then now we can take one of our gas pipes here and just pump it out to the side. What do we want to say here? We want to come over here to the side config. We want to go to gases and we want to click output here. We want to turn the eject to on. Once we set this thing right, we click set here. So now it pumps this out and we should be getting our sulfur trioxide. There we go. Now we have a bunch of sulfur trioxide. And now we can just take sulfur trioxide, mix it with some water vapor, and we'll automatically make sulfuric acid. We'll need another chemical infuser here, which thankfully we have our water vapor right here, which is pretty easy to use. So what we can do here is make another one of these chemical infusers, and we can stick this one right in front of this one, and then we could just pipe right here. We can just take this gas pipe, stick it here, and then we can start pumping in what we need. We can do the same thing here with a energy pipe, stick this one right here, and then we need to go to the side config and check this out. So we want an input from the back here, and let's do input to here. And once we shift click here to set this up properly, we should have water vapor in here, sulfur trioxide in here, and it should be creating our sulfuric acid. So to make this simple, we can actually just take and make this quantum entangloporter right here, set this one to oxygen, which is already set, and it should automatically output to the left side, no problem. This is making so much that it's full, and it can't actually pump to here fast enough. So we'll have to make some more upgrades for this one. Same thing though, we'll take this entangloporter, stick this right here, and we'll actually set this one to our sulfuric acid. And the reason why I'm doing these for each specific chemical or gas or whatever is so that way we can actually take and use each of these for whatever we need it for, as long as we're producing enough, right? So now the sulfuric acid is in here. So again, we're going to go ahead and upgrade these guys. So now this is our factory right here for sulfuric acid. Our goal was to make fissile fuel, right? So let's go back to that fissile fuel. Now that we've made each of these, and we needed an isotopic centrifuge, right? But we also needed uranium hexafluoride, which this one is uranium oxide plus hydrofluoric acid. Hydrofluoric acid is next, which is that sulfuric acid into a chemical dissolution chamber. Make sure we have that recipe with some fluoride. So thankfully we have this set up already back here. We can actually take and do all this. We can actually take and put this underneath to make this even cleaner. So let's do this. This is oxygen. So now that's even cleaner. And now we want to make that chemical dissolution chamber. And here we go. Dissolution chamber. Stick this down. We're going to transfer some power to it. We can do just like we did right here, and we can actually export our fluoride here. So I need to make another exporter. Click this here, grab some fluoride, which we have a ton of, and stick that in there. Stick some speed upgrades in there, and now we should be shoving a bunch of fluoride in here. But we also need this sulfuric acid we made up here to keep things clean. Break this, put our quantum entangloporter right here. We want to make sure this is not actually set to that. We want to make this as sure as this is set to sulfuric acid. And then at the top of the gas, we make sure we output at the top. And now this is going to be making us that hydrofluoric acid. I don't know how you actually, is it fluoric acid? I'm not sure how you say it, but it's making it. And now we can take that and make that uranium hexafluoride. But first we got to make the uranium oxide. So this is a chemical oxidizer here. Let's make that chemical oxidizer. This here. So uranium oxide is actually yellow cake uranium. You have to have yellow cake uranium to use it. You can't do anything else. And yellow cake uranium is literally just an enrichment chamber with uranium in it. That's all it is to it. So the easy way to do this, first off, let's keep the power going here. Right? Connect the power. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to go right up these steps or to my factory out here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just come over here to this enriching factory and tell it and give it a recipe in here. And then we'll use a regulator upgrade to make sure it keeps it crafted, so we don't ever have to worry about it. We come over here to this and we grab that yellow cake recipe here. You can make sure that this is set to any kind of uranium ingot. We want to make sure that that is set to the proper uranium ingot here. So back to the factory over here. In this elite enriching factory here, we want to take and put that yellow cake uranium recipe. So that way we can call for it anytime we want in one of these machines. And then we can go down here, or because I'm lazy, I want to take this. And what we can do, make another exporter because I keep forgetting to make one. And then we can pipe along the back here just like this. And then put an exporter right here. And with this exporter, we're going to put a regulator upgrade in here and a crafting upgrade. And then I can come over here and call for that yellow cake. So let me go ahead and just craft one of those, which we're missing uranium, which I know why we're missing uranium, because the uranium is set to output over here, which, good God, we're running out. Oh man. So it's set to output over here. So what we can do here for the time being, we can grab a couple stacks of these, and then I can call for that yellow cake uranium by putting uranium in here. We can go back to our mechanism factory over here, and in here, we want to take and put that yellow cake uranium in here. We can click it and make sure that it's set to 64. And now this will try and keep 64 in here as much as possible. It will craft as much as they can. So we come over here to the side config. We want to make sure that we have item input here. We have items config. And then we want input from the back here. So right there, and that should start putting some yellow cake uranium in here. The recipe should call for this yellow cake uranium and should call for it to constantly try and fill this up as much as we could. It should try and make it as much as possible. The problem is that uranium actually is being stopped before we even get here. So we might have to turn that off or figure out a different way to do it for this factory. I guess this is a good time to mention that I did upgrade the tops of these. So for the user that said, hey, try and fit 3x3s in here like this, the 8 reactor control rods, I did that, and I did all of them. This bad boy makes 112,000 RF per tick now. It's pretty fast. I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty nice. What we're gonna do is we're gonna connect this over here into our system with an external storage. The best way to do that is actually right here. Is to just get an external storage, which I thankfully have one. We'll pipe this in right here, and bam. Now it will pull from this uranium ingot because we have the uranium ingot and it keeps going up. And you can see now that it should be crafting that yellow cake. See? Sweet. So now we can take and put these together. So we have the hydrofluoric acid in here, sulfuric acid, who are making it. And this is what we're going to need to make the uranium hexafluoride. So we're going to need to mix these two together in a chemical infuser. Here's our uranium oxide. Here's our hydrofluoric acid. I think it's whatever. And now we can combine these two together in another one of those chemical infusers. So now we're going to place the chemical infuser here. We're going to grab some of those gas pipes, put it here, put it here. I think this is actually because it's acid. It's actually not a gas. Oh no, what have I done? Nope, it's a gas. Now we're going to take our gas pipes and pipe this out here. And then here we want to make sure that we're pumping the product here. We'll go gases, and then we'll do output in the front there. So it'll pull right there. We're not going to hit that just yet. Same thing here. We're going to go to gases and we're going to go to output in the front, just like that. And then now we can do the setup over here to make sure this is set right. So now we want to do input 1 on the left, input 2 on the right. And we can take and pump both of these out just like this with that and that. And then shift click. And this has no energy because I don't have it pumped in yet. So now we're making uranium hexafluoride, which we're almost there. We just got to put this in an isotopic centrifuge. So now let's make that. And here we go. Basic chemical tank, some lead ingots, some ultimate control circuits, and we have an isotopic or isotopic. I wonder if it's isotopic. We just stick that down right there. And now that we have this uranium hexafluoride, we can take, and I believe it's a gas, so let's pump it out like this. Set the gas to output in the front just like that. And then in this one, we can come over here and do gases and then do input in the back, which is already on. Shift click here, put this there, and this thing should be creating us some fissile fuel. Pipe this in right here at the top. Oh, looks like you can actually put power in the top. And now it's working, and we're making fissile fuel. So one last touch before we do all of this is we need to make sure all of these machines have the max upgrades. You can take a look. Some of these will have extra upgrade. And if you don't like all these sounds, remember you can just come in here and type in Mekanism and then just mute everything that you don't want to hear. And now got peace and quiet. And now that we have it all upgraded, we're going to do just like we did before. We're going to grab that entangler porters that we made, and we will have our very own Fissile Fuel entangler porter. Just like that. We're going to make sure to output and upgrade this. And to finish this off here, stick that sign down and spell Fissile Fuel properly. There we go. We are set up with all of these different kinds of chemicals for us to make fissile fuel. Now, my only actual bottleneck is not getting any sulfur at all because my bees aren't working. So we're going to need some more sulfur bees, which, oh God, I forgot to take a look at what the bees were doing. Well, that isn't so bad, right? I left a baby upgrade in here, and I guess it's not so bad, right? Just made me a bunch of steel bees. We gotta get these baby upgrades out of here, though. But yeah, we made a bunch of bees. All right, that was not as hard as I thought it was gonna be. We just did it step by step, walked through it all together, and we made everything that we need now to make ourselves a fission reactor. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if this helped you learn how to make all of the things for the fission reactor, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. It really helps these videos. It helps me in the algorithm. It helps push everything and gets us closer to that 1,000 mark for subscribers, bro. We're so close. Ah! I'm really kind of excited about this 1,000. I don't know if you guys know about it or not. Can we hit it by my birthday? I don't know. We'll see. Until next episode, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll